Good afternoon to From the Heart, featuring the Juan, that's Juan, and only, and of course that's me, Juan M. Andrade, with another segment of From the Heart, and only at the Area Career Center in Hammond, Indiana. Want to give a special thanks to the students for the multimedia department here, who are the crew and taping this show. And actually it's 2 shows each and every month that we try and do here at the Area Career Center. To my very right, I have a very, very special guest here for our program, and his name is Angel Manfredi from the region. Angel Manfredi is a former featherweight and junior lightweight world boxing champion, and that goes back into the 1990s, would that be correct? Okay. And so we are very grateful that he is our special guest today here on From the Heart. So the first part of the program, we're going to have a little conversation about his history and some things he has planned that are coming up that are going to be in the region. And then the second part of our program, we're going to have some demonstrations and so forth from Mr. Manfredi in regards to boxing tips for, let's say, those young people, men and women now these days, right?
Yeah.
Not just men.
All ages.
And all ages to maybe consider when they are starting their boxing career. So at this point, Angel, thank you for being our very special guest for our first show here today on From the Heart.
Thank you for
All
having
right,
me.
thank you, Angel. And you know what, like I said, you are from the region here, and so we're grateful for that, because you're getting back in a sense. You, like I said, you were the champion going back a few years here, and you're still here in the region, and that is a great thing. So, what year were you born, and where were you born?
I was born October 30th, 1974, the day of the Rumble in the Jungle, Ali versus George Foreman.
Okay.
I was born that same day.
Very good. And what, I guess you're married, right? Is that correct?
I'm married, yes,
and what, just before we started our show, someone in your family has a birthday, is that correct?
My daughter, Marina.
Give a shout out to your daughter.
Marina, happy birthday, Marina. I love you. She's 24 today, and she's my second chance.
Very good. What's so special about your daughter that you can tell our viewers right now?
Well, she was a preemie.
Okay.
She was a preemie, and it's sad the way it was when she was born, because I was the one waiting for her to come out,
okay.
basically, you know what I'm saying? And I was under the influence of drugs, and it was very sad, but she had the baby. Matter of fact, at first she was on the bed, and then she went from the bed to the toilet. She was going to have it on the toilet.
Right.
And then she went back to the bed, and then she had it on the bed.
Okay. And so that was back in the day, but you've literally turned your life around. Is that
Yes,
correct? And we'll
yes.
talk a little bit about that. So look, let's talk a little bit about your boxing history. At what age did you start boxing? And when did you know that you wanted to be a boxer in your life?
Well, I mean, I was born in Gary, Indiana, and that's all I ever fought was. That's all I ever fought was on the streets of Gary, 5th and Van Buren. At the age of 9 years old, I came to East Chicago Harbor, and that's where I got into a street fight with this kid from the projects, and I beat him up real bad, and I'm walking home, and I had blood on my hands.
Sure.
I'm walking home. I'm only 9 years old, only 65 pounds. I'm walking home, I'm a little kid, you know, I had a lot of hair back then. And I'm walking home, and my dad looked at me and said, "You fighting again?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Come on." He took me to the Harbor Boxing Club, and that's where my trainer, Juan Ortiz, and I got into the ring for the very first time against a guy named Jesus Fuentes.
Okay.
Which is very well known in the region as well. Not for a good thing, but for a bad thing. But Jesus Fuentes, which is better known as Choo Choo, we sparred. For the first time I sparred, he was already boxing, but this is my first time sparring. He knocked me down, not one, not two, but 3 times. I got up off the floor. I pointed at everybody and said, "I'm going to be world champion." They laughed at me. All my whole life I was laughed at. I was talked about. I was put down by family, friends, and it didn't bother me. For some reason in my mind, The Bible says, so man thinketh so easy. In my mind, I was like, yeah, we'll see about that.
So, when your father took you to the ring, and you said that, what did your father say?
He was the only one that smiled at me and said,
Okay.
I believe you, Papa. He's Puerto Rican heritage. Juan Manfred is his name. He just smiled, smirked at me and said, I believe you, Papa.
That's very good. So, from that point on, did you start going to the gym? Did you start working out? Did you have an instructor or something to that effect? Talk a little bit about that, on how you got going from that point on.
Well, that point on, I started training at the Harbor Boxing Club.
Okay.
Harbor Boxing Club, and that's where I started my career, where I was learning how to throw the jab, how to throw the cross, how to throw the hook, how to throw the uppercuts, body shots by Juan Ortiz. Juan Ortiz was Mexican heritage, but a very good. He was a professional as well, Mexican fighter, and very good teacher. Very good teacher.
At what point did you have your first, let's say, organized fight?
At 9 years old.
At 9?
At 9 years old, I had my first amateur fight, and that's how I started.
Now, when I mean about, like you just brought up, amateur fight, it means someone who's not paid? Is that, what does amateur mean? Just someone who's not paid?
You get trophies or a medal.
Okay, okay. And how long were you an amateur boxer?
Till I was 18.
Till you were 18.
I turned pro at 18.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your first fight as a non-amateur boxer.
Non-amateur?
Which I guess you're, what?
Oh,
your first fight that you, I guess, actually got paid for then.
Oh, that was one. I can't forget it. It was my first pro fight.
Okay.
And the day before the first pro fight, I was out with my friends partying. I had the attitude. I was a kid who just had the attitude that ain't nobody gonna beat me. I do what I want to do. I was drinking, smoking weed, and I just didn't care. The next day was the day of the fight, and I got into the ring, and I got stopped in the second round. I believe the second or third round I got stopped, and I cried, and it hurt real bad. And it just motivated me to train harder, to dedicate myself more better in and out of the ring.
Okay. So, what happened the next fight?
I won.
You won.
Mm-hmm.
Did you party the day before?
No.
Why did you do that? What did partying, with your first fight, you said you partied and you fought and you lost. What came to your mind before you stepped into the ring for the second fight that said, you know what, if maybe I keep partying, I'm gonna get the same result? What came to your mind leading up to a second fight?
Well, it wasn't the second fight. I wouldn't say that. I'll say it was probably the fourth or fifth fight when I had my car accident.
Okay.
And this was, I was out partying once again, drinking alcohol and doing cocaine. And I was in Whiting, Indiana at a girl's house. And at that time I had a girlfriend, which is now my wife. And I'm with this girl, we're doing cocaine and we're drinking Hennessy, and you know, she wanted to have intimacy, you know what I'm saying? And my pager, back then we had beepers, you know what I'm saying? My pager kept on beeping and it was my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I said, I gotta go. So I left and I was in a rush. And I'm driving down Indianapolis Boulevard going southbound on Indianapolis Boulevard going south on Indianapolis. And all I remember was waking up in the hospital. I pointed at the doctor and said, would I be able to fight again? He said, never again, you're finished, you're done. You'll never be able to fight again, you're finished, you're done. And in my mind I said, we'll see about that. The next fight I got into the ring, I remember the next fight, and I knocked the dude out so nasty. Dedication came after that car accident. Something about that car accident that saved my life. You know, I went straight to a telephone pole. Driver's side was smashed to the passenger side, the front end was smashed to my chest. They had to get me out with the jaws of life to get me out of the car. And all I remember was waking up in the hospital and pointing at the doctor and telling him, would it be a fight again? And then the next fight, I knocked the dude out so nasty. My trainer, John Taylor from Gary, Indiana, Lieutenant John Taylor from Gary, Indiana, he said, he don't fight like no angel, he fight like the devil. So my manager at the time, Jorge Streeter, he said, about a week or two later, he brought a devil's mask, and he said, you're gonna wear this mask, we're gonna nickname yourself El Diablo. Angel El Diablo Manfredi, the devil Manfredi. I said, cool, I'll do it. And in my mind, I said, well, I'm gonna use red shoes, red long socks where you can't see my white legs, fire, and then it turns into white.
So let's fast forward a little bit in the interest of time. Let's talk about the actual fight that you had that made you that made you the featherweight champion. And so 2 different titles, right? You were the featherweight champion and junior lightweight champion. Would that be correct then?
Yes.
So let's fast forward then. What can you remember about the fight that won you the featherweight champion, lightweight champion?
It was in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
I was going to somebody's home country, fighting in his hometown. It did not matter. I didn't care where I fought. I was that type of fighter. I wasn't, they baby fighters. You know what I'm saying? I was never babied. I always fought in different areas, different locations, different countries. It did not matter where it was at. I'll fight you anywhere, anytime, any place. Don't matter. I fought him in Toronto, Canada, and we knocked him out in the 3rd round. Victorio Salvatore, we knocked him out in the 3rd round. I won the featherweight title.
Very good. And how long ago was that?
That was in 95.
Okay. And when did you become the junior lightweight champion?
6 months later.
6 months afterwards?
Yes.
So
I went from that title. I didn't have a fight. I didn't have a fight for 6 whole months.
Oh, did you?
I didn't have a fight for. My manager couldn't give me a fight for 6 whole months. I don't know why, but I was very discouraged. I was very down. But I was, at the same time, I said, man, they're gonna get it. Whoever I fight next is gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't making that. My first pro fight I made $250. $250. My first pro fight. You know what I'm saying? So I had a baby. I had my daughter Celeste Manfredi at the time, and my wife Yvette Manfredi, we were struggling and we weren't getting no money coming. My wife was working for the pharmacy. She was a pharmacist tech. She was working for a pharmacy in Miller Drugs in Miller, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, and we didn't have it.
okay. So after you became the junior lightweight champion, and I guess you held.
Well, after I beat the featherweight champ, after I knocked out Victoria Salvatore to win the featherweight title, 6 months later I fought Calvin Grove, which was the former IBF world champion, and he was ranked number 7 in the world at the time. And then we beat him. We TKO'd him in the 7th round. 7 completion. It just finished.
Now, both fights, I guess, were on television. Would that be HBO or something like that?
Yes, I believe so. No, they're on Cedric Kushner Promotions.
Okay.
That was my promoter at the time. He passed away now, but that was my promoter at the time, Cedric Kushner Promotions.
So, and like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the second part of our program, we're going to have a little, I guess, maybe show and tell, so to speak. We're going to have Mr. Manfredi provide some boxing tips. So we're going to be away from this table and chairs here for those people that are looking to get into the boxing business. And you might have to, if you have, trying to flash something to me, because I kind of, with the light here, a little difficult to see here. But so what do we got? Okay. So we're getting near the very end of our first part of our program, Angel. And so, and we'll talk about this, the second part of our program here, but one thing I do want to touch on before the end of our show here today is that people are human and people make mistakes. Yes. And Angel talked about the partying that he did as a boxer and so forth. I'm a probation officer, so I deal with people that make mistakes, and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. So Angel turned his life around. But on that point, we're going to cut it for the first part of our program and stay tuned for the second part of From the Heart, featuring none other than Angel Manfredi.
us live with a parent who is dependent on drugs. Stop in the present, save the future. Dial 1-866-236-1651 or visit the National Drug Helpline at drughelpline.org.
Welcome back to the second part of From the Heart, featuring myself, Juan Andrade, actually the Juan, that's Juan, and only. We have as a very special guest today, Mr. Angel Manfredi, who is the former featherweight and junior lightweight world boxing champion. And before we go to some boxing tips and so forth, Angel informed, I guess, the community and so forth that he's going to be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. When is that going to take place, and where is it going to take place?
Carmel, Indiana.
Okay.
Indianapolis, at the Holiday Inn.
Okay.
And that's going to be March 16th, which is a Saturday.
March 16th.
I'll be out there the 15th, Friday, and 16th is the ceremony.
Is that an event that's like open to the public, or is it for invitees only?
It's open to the public.
It's open to the public, okay. And what does that mean to you, being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
It's an honor. It's an honor being inducted to the Hall of Fame and being recognized as one of the best. By now, I should have been in the International Hall of Fame. You know,
Okay.
There's fighters that I fought and beat that are in the International Hall of Fame. So one day I'll be in there too as well.
So you're inducted by way of, would that be weight class or just lightweight, featherweight, middleweight boxing? Is that how it goes in terms of who goes
No,
in inducted?
they induct you by what you've done in your career,
Okay.
your birth, what you've done in your career, your life, in and out of the ring.
Okay. And that's a great thing. So you're going to have your whole family there and all your
Yes.
fans and so forth?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
It's going to be a packed house. One thing about me, I was one of the highest rated fighters in the world, so there's going to be a lot of fans coming from all over the world to watch me get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Now, when was the last time you actually had a fight, a professional fight?
My last fight was in '04.
In
I was
04.
30 years old when I had my last fight, and I really won the fight. I fought the guy in his hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, and LeBron James was there. He's one of my fans.
Okay.
He was there, and I felt I won the fight, but they gave the fight to the hometown boy, and I heard a voice in my mind. He said, "That's it."
That's it.
I looked at my wife. I said, "Baby, that's it." She said, "What do you mean that's it?" I said, "I'm done. I'm finished. I don't want to box anymore. I'm retired. I don't want to fight no more. I don't love it no more."
Let me ask you this. I don't know for how long, but how long have you been training young future boxers? How long have you been doing that?
Man, ever since I retired,
Okay.
basically. Well, not right after I retired.
Right.
Right after I retired, I got into bricklaying. I was a bricklayer for the Union of 41, I believe. And I got into bricklaying because I saw a friend of mine, Marco Serratos. He was laying brick,
Okay.
and I was doing the mortar and all that, and I was the laborer, you know, and I saw the finished part. I saw the beginning. I looked in the beginning, but what memorized me, what surprised me was the finish.
Okay.
When he finished the wall, I was like, wow, that's awesome. I want to do that.
Okay.
He said, yeah. I talked to the hall for you and say your name, see if they're willing to teach you and all that.
Okay. Going back to the training part, which you've been doing, some time already, what feeling, what benefit have you felt on the inside by you taking what you've done in your career, within the ring, to pass that knowledge, experience to upcoming future boxers? What does that mean to you in terms of passing that along?
It means everything to me.
Okay.
It's all about giving back. And it's one thing about me, a man is only as good as his word.
Okay.
Meaning this, whatever you put in, you get out.
Right.
Obviously, I love to give back. I love to give back to the community. I love to give what I know, all the experience I know since boxing since 9 years old. So now I still box, I still train, and there's one that I want to fight.
And who's that?
That's Floyd Mayweather. I'm about the only one that can beat him. I know how to beat him. I studied him when I retired. I used to watch him every day at home and watch Floyd fight. He's an excellent fighter. I take nothing away from him, but I
Right.
know I can beat him.
Okay. So I know you have some plans coming up because you're an instructor for boxing in Maryville right now. Is that correct?
Right now I'm in Crown. Right now I'm in Crown Point,
Okay.
1516 North Main Street, Crown Point, Indiana 46307, at Universal Fitness, which is called Full Spectrum Fitness.
Okay.
I'm there teaching one-on-ones only. I can only do private training right now because I don't have the space. I was looking for space. I was trying to negotiate with the owner.
So
trying to
you're
get
looking
space.
to have your own
Yes,
boxing training facility. Is that correct?
I want my own facility to get kids off the streets.
Right.
It's boxing is a very disciplined sport. It got me off the streets. It's a very disciplined sport, very mental. It helps with Parkinson's, even helps with Parkinson's. It helps with different health issues in people's lives. Boxing does it. It makes you lose weight, trim your body, tone your body, and also defend yourself at all times.
At what weight during your boxing career did you feel, this is my ultimate weight, that at this weight, with all the training that you've had, I can beat anybody? What weight was that?
Well, featherweight when I was champion, junior lightweight when I was champion, but when I went to lightweight, I knew I could be the best at lightweight, but I beat myself.
Okay.
I was still partying.
Okay.
I was still doing the
What
bad
you weren't
stuff,
supposed to be doing.
which I wasn't supposed to be doing. But that's what fame brings. That's what making millions of dollars does to you, you know what I'm saying? And your surroundings, my friends, my surroundings that are around me. Bad company crews, good manners. I was around some bad company, and I can't blame it on nobody but myself.
And what, as a probation officer since 1991, and I deal with adults, that's one of the questions I ask some of the people that come through our office, through our courtroom in the probation department. When they party, when they drink, do they drink alone? Do they drink outside? Do they drink in the house? Or do they drink with friends? And then if you're doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, and you're doing with friends that are doing what they're not supposed to be doing, you need to lose those friends. And apparently, I guess you lost those.
Well, I mean, they're still in the area, but we don't contact each other. We don't call each other. Only there's really one friend that I contact, Ray Figueroa. He's about the only one we talk, but it's been a while since we talked too. I mean, I really don't have a best friend. I really don't have a friend. You know what I'm saying? But I have acquaintances and all that. But Ray Figueroa and Johnny, Julio, RC, I mean, Omar, I mean, those are my friends, but we really don't interact daily, on a daily basis, because I changed my life. When I changed my life, that's when nobody wanted to hang out with me.
Hey, Joe, who's standing right behind you?
This is my secretary, Lori, Nicole.
So she, in a sense, right now is going to be like maybe like your sparring partner or something like that. Well, you know, pretty much, if we can take the last part of our program to, and this would be going out to all the young men and women, because it's not just men that are boxing. We also have women that are in the sport. What kind of tips and actual, if you can show some of your best moves that you had back then, and maybe you still might have them, because you said you still got them. They're not going to go away. So who do we have? And then maybe you can show some of your boxing tips for young boxers out there.
This is my secretary, Nicole Grish.
Okay.
Basically, are you right-handed?
Left-handed.
She's a southpaw.
Which is a plus, right? If you're in boxing,
yeah.
If you're left-handed.
Than a doctor, you know.
She's a southpaw, so southpaws.
Okay, let me just go over here then.
Basically, southpaw. What thing about southpaws? Their left foot, it's the right foot that's the front foot that comes out.
Okay.
In their stance. That's the first thing. So put your foot up.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, this is how she'll stand if she was fighting.
Okay.
That's a southpaw, and I'm right-handed. See how we both hit each other's hand?
Right.
Stretch his hand. See how we both hit each other? That's the difficulty with southpaws. You gotta come around with southpaws. You gotta come around with southpaws. You gotta lead with right hands. You gotta lead with right hands.
Very good. So, throughout your career, how many southpaws did you actually box? And what was your record against the Southpaws being a right-hander, roughly?
Probably 3-1, 3 knockout.
So you had about how many? So you had about like 4 fights.
Southpaw.
With the
I
Southpaws.
fought the best southpaw, Stevie Johnson.
Okay.
He was the best. Even Mayweather wouldn't fight him at the time. He was the best southpaw, and I knew during that fight, I knew I shouldn't have wore the mask. I used to wear a devil's mask,
Okay.
and I just got tattoos of devils crazy. You know, there's a story behind it all. My book's coming out very soon. This year, my book will be out. But
Well, let's also talk about, because when a boxer's, let's say, on the ropes and so forth, and being dominated by the other boxer there, what do you recommend to all those boxers that are
Against
being punched
ropes?
right up against the rope? What should they do? What should
give
they
me
do?
a chance. If I'm fighting a southpaw,
Right.
and she's against the ropes right now, I will come with the straight right hand, and I'll dig to the body, and I'll step to the side. And when I step to the side, she have to turn towards me. She'll turn, and when she turns, I already got her.
Okay. In the people that you are training right now, are you training any women? Any young ladies to be
I was training women, but a lot of my clients fell off.
Okay.
I don't know, because of the weather, because boxing is a seasonal sport.
Right.
It's a 24-hour sport, basically. It's everyday sport. Winter, and it does not matter. It's not, let me repeat that, let me rephrase that. It's not a seasonal sport. It's a all year round sport. And you go through seasons sometimes where they fall away, they stop training with me. But I had women, I had men, I had my youngest client is 3 years old, now he's 4.
Oh, wow.
His name is Joey.
What kind of exercises do you recommend for anyone who wants to go into boxing?
I mean, with boxing, you first got to learn how to throw your punches, which is the first punch. Before that, you got to learn how to stand. Your foundation is your stance. She got her stance. Then you got to learn how to put your hands up. She will have her hands, and the chin goes down a little bit, and then it'll come right there. That's her stance. That's her stance right there. About the first thing I teach her, once she got her stance, I teach her how to throw the jab. One of the best jabs in the sport of boxing was Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Tony Zell. I mean, one of the best jabs. That jab will come out, it'll turn. It turns at the end. And she'll tuck in her knuckles. See, she turn, that's a jab. Boom. It's a twist at the end.
Okay. So we're getting near the end of our program because I'm getting the signal here. 30 seconds real quickly. You devoted your life to Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Look at the cameras. What can you say about, after all you've done, good, bad, and ugly, take about 30 seconds to talk about what you've done to turn your life around and devote it to Jesus Christ.
Well, when I gave my life to Jesus, it was suicide. I had to choose how was I going to live, and I was under the influence of cocaine for 3 days. It's called a devil's fast. No water, no food, just drugs. Cocaine was the one I chose the most. Was my specialty, I guess. And I had to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? I had to make a decision. Either give my life or take my life. No, I didn't have to, I wasn't going to wait till I sobered up. No, I had to make the decision under the influence of cocaine and being up for 3 days, no sleep, no water, no food. Being up for 3 days, I had to make a decision, and I made the decision.
So on that point, in the end, you chose not what you were doing, what you were talking about. You chose Jesus Christ. You have a ministry. So I'm sorry, we are out of time. Okay, so we thank you once again for being a special guest on From the Heart, and take this as a learning experience, but not only for the boxing tips, but about what you've done in life. You can turn it around. Angel has turned his life around. And on that note, This is the one and only Juan M. Andrade, and this is From the Heart. And I thank you.